Welcome to the Simplify Your Life podcast. It's Coach Simona, and I'm glad you decided to tune in.
Hey everyone! In today's podcast episode, we're going to answer the question, why do I obsess over things? And I'm going to share with you 5 easy steps you can take to stop obsessions and step into your true power. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Simona, certified life coach and author of the book 111 Ways to Simplify Your Life. I make weekly podcast episodes on personal development, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe. Now, before we get into my 5 easy steps you can take to stop obsessions, I want to answer the question you're probably already asking yourself, and that is, why do I obsess over things? To answer this question, we're going to have a deep dive into some of the possible reasons for obsessing, starting with number 1. You obsess over things because you're trying to escape your emotions. Let me share with you a quick story to illustrate this point. As a teenager, I used to obsess over TV shows, celebrities, boyfriends, books, romantic gestures, you name it. I was constantly spending my time on things and other people instead of focusing on myself. It was so much easier to binge 10 episodes of Dexter than face my crippling anxiety, or obsess over my latest boyfriend instead of figuring out what I actually wanted out of the relationship. Some of us have the tendency to try to escape the so-called negative emotions, which by the way are neutral. We're just used to putting a label on them. And how do we try to escape? By obsessing over things that are outside of ourselves. It is so much easier to put the focus on other things or people, instead of taking an honest look in the mirror and embracing what we're really going through. The following 3 questions will help you get to the root of the problem. 1. What emotions do I consider bad or negative? 2. Do I tend to ignore my emotions and look for ways to distract myself? 3. What do I obsess about the most when I feel a strong negative emotion? Even if you're not sure how to answer these questions, your subconscious mind will start working on them, especially if you write them down. By putting them on paper, you will help your brain start looking for answers, and in time, the answer will come to you. If you want to learn more about how to stop running away from your problems, make sure to listen to episode 99 next. I will link it below. The second reason why you may be obsessing over things is you're afraid of facing reality. This applies to obsessing over people and things. We may be obsessing over our looks, our marriage, or hiding from the world by obsessing over books, school, or even our job. All of these obsessions may be trying to protect us from facing the real world. It can be scary to have your heart broken, or risk losing it all because we haven't done everything right. By obsessing over things, we accomplish 2 things. 1. We successfully avoid facing our fears. And 2. We have a false sense of being in control. Humans are actually quite simple. We want to feel good, and we're trying everything in our power to avoid painful situations. The problem is that by avoiding reality, we are also not experiencing a lot of amazing things. For example, by obsessing over celebrities or TV characters, we're missing out on creating a deeper, meaningful relationship with our partner. Or by obsessing over our career, we miss out on relaxing, taking care of our bodies, having amazing friendships, and fun, exciting stories to tell our grandkids. Don't get me wrong, there is a time and place for all of it, but obsessions might be preventing you from facing reality. And reality isn't necessarily good or bad, it simply is. The third reason you may be obsessing over things is because you have obsessive-compulsive disorder. Now, if you're not interested in this, check the timestamps in the description box below and skip ahead to the next one. Quick disclaimer before we continue. I'm not a therapist or a doctor, and it is not my expertise to tell you what you should do if you suspect you have OCD. So please don't try to self-diagnose and take everything I say with a grain of salt. You don't have OCD just because you obsess over things. So please consult a licensed medical professional before making any decisions about your mental health. With that said, let's briefly touch upon obsessive-compulsive disorder. There is a lot of misinformation on the internet when it comes to OCD. So here is the rundown according to the DSM-5, which is a Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. OCD is characterized by the presence of obsessions, compulsions, or both. It has the following criteria. Obsessions are defined by 1. Recurrent and persistent thoughts, urges, or images. that are experienced as intrusive, unwanted, and in most individuals causing anxiety or distress. And second, the individual attempts to ignore or suppress such thoughts, urges, or images, or to neutralize them with some thought or action. For example, by performing a compulsion. Now, compulsions are defined by 1. Repetitive behaviors that the person feels driven to perform in response to an obsession, or according to the rules that must be applied rigidly. And second, the behaviors or mental acts are aimed at preventing or reducing distress or preventing some dreaded event or situation. However, these behaviors or mental acts either are not realistic or they are clearly excessive. Also, according to the DSM-5, the obsessions or compulsions are time-consuming. For example, they take more than 1 hour per day or cause clinically significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. If you think OCD is the reason why you obsess over things, the rest of this podcast episode might not be enough to help you. So please seek the help of a mental health professional if you think that is the case. Now that we've answered the question, why do I obsess over things? Let's focus on the 5 easy steps to stop obsessing. The first step you can take is to become aware of your behavior. Before obsessing over something or someone, there is a brief moment before taking action. That is a brief moment before you decide to execute on it and before you start indulging in your obsession. The best part is that if you become aware of your behavior, you have a better chance of stopping it, or at least managing it better. Let me give you an example. Let's say you obsess over other people who you perceive as better looking than you. You follow them on Instagram, you watch their videos, you keep wishing you look like them, which in turn makes you feel even worse about yourself. What you can do in this situation is to start observing yourself from a distance. When do you obsess over them? When do you have the urge to check how they're doing on social media? Is it when you feel bored? Or when you have self-deprecating thoughts? Pay attention to the cue. The cue is the first thing that forms a habit. If your habit is to scroll on Instagram, for example, you need to know your cue and make conscious effort to break it. And the first step is to become aware of it. The second step to stop obsessions is to flip the narrative. Right now, you have a narrative in your mind that your obsessions are somehow keeping you safe. Maybe some of them give you a sense of worth, accomplishment, or false sense of acceptance. If you want to get rid of your obsessions, you need to flip the narrative and perceive them as something that doesn't benefit you. You have to minimize the relief they give you and focus on all the bad things they bring into your life. You can do this by asking yourself 2 simple questions. 1. What do obsessions give me? And 2. What do they take away from me? The first question will help you realize what you're getting out of this toxic relationship you have with your obsessions. And the second one will help you focus on the negative. All the things that your obsessions are costing you and why it is not worth it to have them. Try to write down as many negative things as you can. For example, if you're obsessed with your work, you can write something like, "My work has a negative impact on my relationship. I don't sleep well. I feel grumpy all the time. I never feel satisfied no matter how much effort I put into it," etc. Write down things that apply to you. Be brutally honest and see how your obsessions are preventing you from living a better life. The third step is to come up with a plan to tame the obsession. The easiest way to get rid of an obsession is to substitute it with another one. However, we're not going to do that. The key here is moderation. If you're prone to obsessing over things or people, you may be a person of extremes. As someone who is no stranger to intense emotions, adrenaline, drama, and getting easily bored, I can tell you from my personal experience that moderation and balance was one of the hardest things I had to teach myself. The plan for taming an obsession depends on the obsession itself, and only you can find what works for you. So my recommendation is to try out different approaches and see what clicks. For example, if you're obsessed with a guy, you can start putting your time and energy into other things. Your hobbies, your friends, learning more about yourself, and focusing on spending quality time with yourself. This doesn't mean completely forgetting about him, but spending a big chunk of your day on other things that have nothing to do with him. Or if you're obsessed with chocolate, for example, you can start by not buying any from the grocery store and not keeping chocolate in the house. You can give yourself a cheat day so you don't start binging, because the key here is moderation. Step number 4 to stop obsessions is to be kind to yourself. overcoming obsessions is quite difficult, and it takes a lot of time and effort on your part. So you need to be kind and compassionate to yourself throughout this journey. Maybe you will stop obsessing over someone, and then you will fall off the wagon and become obsessed again. That is okay, you're only human. The important thing is to not give up on yourself and try again. Each time you try, you build your self-trust muscle. You begin showing up for yourself. You know that you can count on yourself, and that is a powerful way to overcome obsessions. If you want a step-by-step framework that will help you learn how to be kinder to yourself, develop self-compassion, and learn to love yourself unconditionally, check out the Self-Love Toolkit. What if you could transform the relationship you have with yourself in just 15 minutes per day? If that sounds interesting to you, check out the first link in the description box below or head over to www.theselflovetoolkit.com. The next step to stop obsessing over things and people is to remember your why. Sometimes we need to have a bigger reason to do something. It is not enough to just say, I want to stop obsessing over him, or I need to stop obsessing over my job. Your why could be in the form of, I want to stop obsessing over my boyfriend because I want to stop feeling anxious in my relationship and have fun again. Or, I need to stop obsessing over my job because I don't have time to see my kids and I feel like I'm missing out on life. If you're not sure what your why is yet, go back to the beginning of this episode where we talked about what your obsessions are costing you. When you know what something is costing you, you can clearly see the opposite of it. The thing that you're going to get if you stop doing the old behavior. The best part about this entire process is that in time you will no longer need to use obsessions as a crutch to get your needs met or soothe yourself when you feel anxious. You will see them as optional, and you will have the power to say no. Come back to this episode whenever you feel like you're spiraling, and you need to remind yourself of your own personal power. And if you want to take the shortcut to becoming your number one priority, head over to www.theselflovetoolkit.com. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this episode helpful, please like it. And subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on my weekly podcast episodes. I'm sending you all my love, and I'll talk to you in the next one.